All right, welcome back to Web3 Whispers, where we talk to the gigabrains and the chads and the artists of
Artists,
the Web3
yeah.
space. Yeah, there we go. We got the king of artists here, but I'm with my co-host Steeb, and who do we got today?
Hey guys, we have Nerva from Celephais. Nerva is the project founder, and Celephais is a artist-centric project. Nerva, do you want to introduce yourself and kind of let everyone know who you are?
Of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Nerva, the founder of Celephais, and I'm very excited to be here today and tell you guys all about Celephais.
Yeah, and we're excited to have you. I mean, we're talking a little bit about before the podcast, and I know like anyone that's listening to episode 12 and has listened to our episodes before, like we do want to start highlighting artists and bring some more light and empathy to the artists on the projects, because a lot of times people look past the artists, the project founders, and in this case, like you're the project founder focused on artists, so it's kind of two birds with one stone, like we were saying before. So we're happy to have you, man.
Thank you very much. And just a quick notice. My mouth is like the box of Pandora, so you
We're
guys
getting
will have to
alpha.
give me the time limit. Don't worry.
That's the no, don't worry about that at all. I mean, Matthias and I can do a 4-hour podcast, so if you just keep if you keep running and you feel like you're starting to babble a little bit, we can always just reel you back in.
Okay, perfect. Because if you go on for 4 hours, you might hear me slap my face on a keyboard and fall asleep.
No worries. Yeah, Nerva just got
Perfect.
off of a long team meeting, I think, right before this call. So
Yeah,
he's well, bless him for being able to continue on a podcast where obviously the only thing that you do is talk. So thank you, man.
It's a perfect time for alpha, though. You know, you're just talking to the team,
Exactly.
then you're talking to us. We just blended in together.
Yeah, we got
all
to start
about
doing this more. We'll do the early morning ones so that the
Yeah,
project founders kind of get thrown off and they have to release
sneak up on
alpha.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. Anyways, Nerva, yeah, if you could just tell everyone, what Celephais is, and then maybe the genesis story behind Celephais, like how what your inspiration was for creating the project, and how it started.
Yes. So basically, I've been in the NFT space for around 9 months now, and I've been working on Celephais for approximately six. The First of all, the name Celephais comes from a story of H.P. Lovecraft. I mean, if you guys know, Lovecraft is
Yep.
mostly a horror story writer, but he also has these like dreamy, more like these weird aesthetic stories too, which
Hmm.
Celephais is one of. And I'm absolutely, I mean, I really like reading, and as soon as I read Celephais, it was just something that I couldn't shake for you know for a long time, and
Hmm.
I read it for like a lot of times more since my first reading in like a couple of years ago, and when I joined the NFT space, of course, my first experience, the baby like training wheels were all through just joining communities, meeting with people, making connections, and just learning every single day. So, I
Hmm.
mean, I really didn't even have an idea of creating a project in the first place. I mean, I just thought that, that would never happen. But never say never. The cell face idea came from, well, mostly I had previously worked with one of our artists, Marco, and just for a simple short commission, and just seeing the art and seeing like how everyone just like listening to all these passionate project founders and in their AMAs and in their Twitter spaces. I realized that maybe, just maybe, I could have created something in some way, because personally I am most horrendously not talented when it comes to art in any forms.
We
So
like the humility.
I wish I wish I really could draw. I mean, my mom is like draws these amazing paintings, and I'm just I admire and both envy her just a little. And
Do some stick
when
figures
we
and
So
stuff.
it wasn't
yeah,
hereditary.
Yeah.
no, sadly not.
Damn.
I got the bad part of genes when it came to art, but
But
at least I can appreciate what art.
you've been surrounded by it, right? And so that it's had a big
Yeah,
part in your life.
yeah,
It's played a
absolutely. I
big part in
mean,
your life.
I live in the city of Istanbul, and I've been surrounded with ancient history, and which is, I mean, I studied in Cambridge University classics for about a year before just like taking an intermission and taking some time off,
Awesome.
and just like working with all these like history, art, and everything, and in sculptures, the relics and everything. I really admired art and history in the first place. So when I first, like before anything, when I first learned about NFTs, it took me a bit of a while to grasp my head around it, but I'm a quick learner. But I mean, aside from all the profile picture projects, you know, the P2E, whatever, just like surfaces every day now,
Hmm.
I immediately saw the long-term potential in NFT art. And it's like, you know, when you first learn about something, there's just this very like, we're just this very little part of it that really clicks into your head. And that was the NFT art for me because, um, when it came to just everything else, I mean, they were okay, but I just didn't really see those in the long term. But whenever I try to explain a family member or just like a close friend about NFTs, I immediately give them this example. So, which is, think think you're right in front of Mona Lisa in the Museum of Louvre,
Hmm.
and you pay the world most advanced AI, or just this amazing artist that has this crazy ability of imitating Da Vinci's every single stroke one by one, just down to the nanometer,
Hmm.
and you paid him just like bajillions of dollars, and somehow you end up with a painting that looks almost exactly like Mona Lisa. I mean, not even the most world's finest art connoisseur can differentiate from it, and they would think that you plucked the real one out of the safe and just like switches it somehow.
Hmm.
But that wouldn't be the real Mona. That wouldn't be the real Mona Lisa. There's only a
Right.
single one. So when it came to digital art and just these contemporary artists, I mean, personally, I don't doubt that there's currently people who are as skilled, if not more skilled, than all these Renaissance or these famous classical painters that we all know of.
Hmm.
But um, but they work through computers and digital art. So whether it's with animations, or so, for example, take Rifik Anadol for an example, his animations and just these wavy paintings, or just these, it really feels like the what you see is alive, and
Right.
that's something that can only be true done by digital means. So
Hmm.
there's no other possible way of actually creating them on a canvas painting. So it's physically impossible for them.
Hmm.
But why would their art be only displayed in museums? Why, or like so for example, without NFTs, anyone could, you know, as it's the meme itself, just right click save, and then they would have the exact same thing playing in their desktop background, right? Which is absolutely fine because we also have the scans of Mona Lisa, whatever. But we know that that's not the real one. But
Hmm.
when it comes to digital platforms and just these art, it kind of starts to differentiate, because these artists, for example, we are currently working with a well-known Japanese artist. His name is Chino Maron, and
Hmm.
Chino has a following of around 74,000 followers, I think, on Twitter. And when we first met for Celephais, he told me that he works part time at a factory, and he cannot. I mean, even though his art is like absolutely out of this world, like the details he puts on is crazy, it's crazy good. Um, but somehow, out of all those 74,000 followers, he just didn't have the enough means to actually convert them into real buyers or just commissioners, so that he could do art full time. I mean, this is like long way into Celephais. I'm gonna go
Hmm.
back, so we're just like time skipping right now. And I just thought that that is just like really unacceptable, and it's just c- absolutely boggled my head, because he cannot do art full time, he's such an amazing artist.
Yeah, no, I
So
want to say real quick, you may not be an artist with the brush, Nerva, but you certainly paint a beautiful picture with your words. So I think that was a really good analogy with the Mona Lisa. So I
yeah,
think all
thank
the
you.
listeners can appreciate
I'm best.
that.
Thank you. Means a lot. And so basically, I mean, we discussed and we came to realize that even though he has a large following, they always they always appreciate his aesthetic work, and that's really no problem at all. But we live in a very pragmatic world, and everyone needs an income to live off of. So we commissioned Chino into a project, and his project's name is Jedi. By the way, you can see it on Twitter, and we generated a large income for him so that he could really quit his work. And it's just it. I mean, we haven't minted. We won't be minting for for a little longer because of the situation in the entire space and whatever.
Hmm.
But we already generated just last week over $20,000 of income for around 4 artists in our community.
That's awesome.
So yeah, thank you. And it's just like it's a really large number, and it's just life changing for so many people, and that's what we are truly trying to achieve in Celephais. And when we first started Celephais, it was just me and Marco, and we were just some ideas, thinking of some characters, and we were just thinking of what could happen, and just like and then just like we were just thinking of names, and just like as I was about to fall asleep, Celephate just bumped into my head, and I just immediately wrote it down to my notepad and went to sleep. And the next day, it was like, wow, Celephate, that has to be the name, because Celephate is the dream city, and we want this project to be some sort of a meeting where everyone can achieve whatever they wish for, and we can give them whatever we can absolutely think of. So and then just a little more into the project, Marco mentioned me his friend Mick, who had just at the time made his first NFT, and was Marco asked me if I knew any people who was interested in collecting NFT art, and if I would be interested, or like if they would be interested in getting Mick's painting. I was like, sure, send me his work and his portfolio, and I would just check him out and ask around a couple of people, because at the time I knew like a very large amount of people who I thought might have wanted to buy. But I went through his portfolio. I went through like his art. I talked about with Marco what he's trying to do, and I was like I fell absolutely in love with his artistic style. And I just like added him on Discord and just said, hey, I'm gonna buy your NFT, and I want you to become a part of Celephais. And so that's how Mick, our second artist, joined us. And ever since that, Marco and Mick, the power duo, they're both Brazilian. They have an incredible synergy. Has been working on Celephais because we were first experimenting with other like non-human character styles, but then Mick came on board, and he makes some killer sketches and presented us with a bunch of options. And so, just like process of elimination, we came to choose the characters you see on our Twitter today. And it's really been a large roller coaster, because there's been just so many ideas, and we have been tweaking so many things. I mean, we have been working on Celephais for approximately 6 months now, and that's not counting everything we've done prior. And it's just the art has been worked on for 6 months.
Hmm.
And after that, I presented Celephais to a couple of people to see if we can get any advisors on board or any project that we can participate with. But we didn't get a lot of good feedback. But then Ramo suddenly realized the potential and immediately wanted to work with us. And since that, he's been a really close friend and a real brother to me, because our visions align so well.
Hmm.
And it's just been incredible meeting and working with such amazing people. And that's why I love doing NFTs in the first place. So, for example, just the call I got off just like a couple hours ago, I met with this person who's from Israel, and he works with people who are in California and Los Angeles. our team is I'm in Turkey, Ramos in Dubai, Nev is in Netherlands, Haka is in USA, Michigan.
Oh, we love that global team.
Yeah, Urso and Wolp are from Brazil. Pedro, Rev are from and Argo is from Germany. So we are literally from all over the world, and that's what I absolutely love about the NFT space, because it enables for all of us around the world to just instantly connect with one another just by a Discord message. So it's just like everything seems much more closer now.
I'm sure the
And
time
that's
zones
why-
is a nightmare though.
it's sometimes a nightmare, but
Not if you
they
work
wake up
24 hours a day,
early.
like, right?
They wake up early. I sleep late, or vice versa. So we make things work because when we all have absolutely messed up sleeping schedules, things tend to overlap, and we find time for
No,
each
it's
other.
great. I mean, I think that's reality that you don't see nearly as much in Web 2 or
Yeah.
corpo life. So I think that's one of the great things about the space is that it allows these global teams to kind of work together towards one goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and ever since our team was formed, it's currently 10, including our moderators. It's just been a ridiculously incredible experience because if as a founder I spend so much time attending AMAs, podcasts, and just meet with so many people, then but I know that every single team member works an equal amount of as I do, and with the same passion, and that's what really drives me forward, because like whoever you talk on the Celephais team will just tell you about our vision and just how passionate they are, as much as I am. But that's just like meeting with these amazing people and trying to bring on something to actually help others has is what drives me forward. And just a little more about Celephais. We art-based community, but that doesn't come with but we never limit ourselves to anything. So like whenever a project come to us and they want to collaborate and they say, okay, what do you guys do? I have to give them this entire rundown. Probably I did it over 100 times now. I have to give them this entire rundown so that they can understand, because you really cannot categorize Celephais into one thing, and it's like categorization is like trying to it's one of the logical fallacies, it's the straw man fallacy. You just like try to take something large and you try to put it into small words so that people can understand. But I would prefer to have an hour-long call and explain to everyone what Celephais is, rather than they just like say, okay, you guys are this project, and just be done with it. Because when it I mean, one of the most overused words in the NFT space are probably things like bridging the gap, utility, building, community. We have to thank K Money for bringing so much, for just absolutely making these words unusable. Because whenever I say building, I just immediately think of his videos and start to laugh my ass off. But thanks, no thanks,
Yeah.
K Money, and you absolutely ruined the word for me. But the, just as I said, we really do not categorize Celephais into anything. So if you're an artist, or if you're just a sorry.
No, you're allowed to yawn. I'm not gonna edit that out.
So
We got to make the
if you're
podcast organic.
thank you. And if you're just an artist, or if you're an art collector, or if you're just an art appreciator, or just someone that even wants to learn, I want Celephais to become the medium for all of it. And utility. Okay, fine. We are not one of those projects that just throws in staking onto their roadmap and just go utility. We're gonna stake, and it's revolutionary, never been done before, kind of thing. And so we rather, from our point of view, we take everything that should be the standard in NFT space as granted. So what I mean by that is, most of these projects try to just fill the roadmap with so many items, but just so that they will look like they're doing something, but those shouldn't be things that you just just throw out and ask for your community to praise you for. But those are things that rather should be the basic standard, because 90% of the projects that are coming out right now already do those kind of stuff. So it would be just really unreasonable to just put in like alpha tools, whatever, onto our roadmap and just call it boom. There we go. That's utility for you. And your roadmap might look fancy, but what people actually get from you is really, really, really not not really tangible at all. Oops, I think Steeb fell from the call.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna keep going if that's
that's
okay.
cool. Yeah, we'll keep swinging. We'll keep going anyway. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so
oh, he's back.
so we
There we go.
yeah, hi. So we really do not consider any of those as things that we should ask to be praised for, but rather the basic standards. So whether it's with alpha calls, tools, bots, access to certain perks, giveaways, you name it, we all consider those something that are said and done, which is why we're not going to include them into our roadmap, but rather we're just taking them as granted, and it will be automatically part of Celephais. Now, what we're going to include in our roadmap are some ideas which are quite innovative, and our website is almost completely finished, so you guys will be able to read them firsthand. And
Nice.
yes, I'm very excited for it. The website looks gorgeous. You just have to see for yourselves. And what we really want, what we're thinking of putting on a roadmap are stuff such as ideas that we want to truly bring to life. So like those are even like far-fetched, not far-fetched, basic ideas, not basic ideas. We just like took all of them together and brought in something that's very, very just like created something that's very nice for everyone. So that's what we are going to put in our roadmap. And one of the items, although I cannot spoil it entirely, is going to be yeah, sorry, I cannot spoil it entirely, but it's going to be a sort of a thing where we will give an opportunity of all of our artists in our community to incorporate their own art into our into our NFTs. So this is just one of the ways that we are looking to truly do something that's at least not boring, just let alone innovative. And that's how we look at things in Celephais.
Yeah, so that's
And
what I was curious. Like, if it is there like a what's the elevator pitch, or how do you explain Celephais? I know you're saying you can't really pigeonhole it, or it's not like other projects. So is it like it's not an alpha group? Obviously, it's not like you're saying just the tools. It's really like a community for artists to get exposure for their work, or it's a way for I think I'd kind of described it to people as like a project to get I know it's kind of cliche, but like to bridge to get more web 2 artists into web 3, essentially, like breaking down those barriers. But how would you
possibly,
describe it?
yes. But one other thing that I wanted to mention is that, as I said, we're not an alpha group. But
Yeah.
the thing is, we have. Oh, sorry again.
But there's a lot of alpha in the group because there's so many artists and there's so many people like doing things and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
and we have so many creators at the same time. I mean, we are not an alpha group, but we have alpha equal to an alpha group, and if not better than most.
Yeah,
We're not a tool community, but the bots that are just like like rivals some of the best, and if not one
better.
of the best,
Yeah,
if not
exactly.
better. Yeah.
I think a lot
So
of people
that's what I'm saying.
that's what, yeah, I think there was somebody told me this before, but like they said, if you want to find the alpha for DeFi and stuff like that, you have to follow the people that are building. You have to follow like the creators. And I think that's true for the NFT space as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we are trying to do, because as I said, like some of the things that we have planned are just like so amazing and very exciting, but we don't want to throw them out and just ask people to be grateful for them. It sounds
Yeah.
very selfish, and so that's basic things for the less art interested people. There's always some in every single NFT project,
Yeah, of course, right? You can't get away with it.
and
It's
and
Hey guys.
yeah, and when it comes to the artists, what we are trying to do for Celephais, what we are going to do for them is basically to be a launchpad, educational platform, and just like drawing them the right attention, teaching them, learning from them, showcasing their art, you name it, it's probably a part of Celephais.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
so just to give you guys a basic overview, just right now we are having an art contest in Celephais. So we asked the artists to draw original Celebrity characters in their own art style. And this is not like any other art contest you have seen before. But what we're right now doing is the members can send, for example, background traits. They can send item traits. They can send just like characters as well. And the ones that we think would go a match with our we are not ranking artists. Okay, your art's better than that, better than this person, his art is better
Hmm.
than yours, so you're 1, 2, 3. We are not ranking any of them like that, but rather what we are doing is selecting like however many necessary. I think we have currently 40 chosen ones, and the our contest winners will of course receive whitelist. That goes without saying, but their artwork, more importantly, is going to be a part of our official collection. So we really are trying to drive them forward as much as possible, because usually the our artwork, most disappointingly, I mean, you can spend like 20 minutes and just make a meme and just like say, okay, I participate in art contest. Or you can spend maybe like 20 hours just drawing a masterpiece, and it just gets swarmed up by everything else, and the team doesn't notice you, and it just dies, and your all work just goes unappreciated, maybe except for some emotes, and forgotten entirely.
Some eye
So
emojis and stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But that is just that's just what that is like one of the things that I would personally really dislike. So like these artists spend so much time just doing fan art for you, and they don't even get attention, and you just ask, and you just like try to make them feel absolutely grateful. Oh my god, you have blessed me with the chance of buying your NFT at an overpriced price.
Hmm.
So like that's just something that I really do something that I really do not like. So rather than that, we are really incorporating their art into our official collection, so people will actually be able to see all these unique artists and their own art styles in our NFT collection. And moreover, we are also currently partnering with some major Web2 artists, and also some projects that, as I said, I just got a call off, and these people are absolutely amazing, and we are really looking to bring on their artists into Celephais as well, to host educational sessions. And these people have like years on years of experience working for the most professional companies, or just having their own artwork sell for thousands of dollars. And so we really are trying to bring these amazing people into Celephais just to educate them. And one last point that I want to make before I take your questions is that after Mint, and we know that whether it's with $100, whether it's with $1,000, whether it's with $3,000, like any single price point can be an obstacle and a burden to anyone who wants to enter Celephais. So for artists, what we are going to do is that we're going to create a special role. We already have one called artist, and after Mint, we are going to completely open our Discord, and we will tell, and like however many artists that wants to be a part of Celephais, and we think and like their art is going to be evaluated by our team and artists and fantastic people we have on board, and would just like what would like to meet them, talk with them, and they will be granted the role of artist, and they will have access to all the commission jobs and artist chat, and they will be able to attend all educational AMAs, workshops without the requirement of an NFT. So we really aren't trying to be one of those projects who just goes like, you have to buy our NFT, otherwise you get nothing. You have to buy it, and you have to just like pay for it, and then when you get in, maybe it's not as good as you imagined. So we really aren't trying to put any more obstacles on the way of already struggling artists, but rather we actually want to help them in as many ways as possible. So that is just the basic overview of Celephais. It only took me half an hour, but you know.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. No, but it sounds really interesting because it sounds like there's a way for artists to kind of get in without any cost. Like you can kind of proof of work. You work your way in as an artist, kind of for NFTs.
Absolutely. I mean, I mean, as I said, although like the money, the floor price, everything is just like a natural part of NFTs, we really are trying to remove them out of the way of artists as much as possible. I mean, with the money they make from commissions or just like getting jobs, they might want to buy and sell his NFT, or they might not. But it's completely up to them. But we want to give them something first in order to even remotely think about asking back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a really interesting point too. Yeah, guys, sorry, I wanted to apologize for getting absolutely
Rugged
canceled
by the
on
laptop.
Riverside. Yeah, I got rugged. I had to switch from my laptop to my PC. But yeah, I mean, you know, you made a lot of points there. So there's one point that I wanted to touch on too. Like I think it's good to, as we interview different project founders, as we talk to different project teams, I feel like drawing comparisons is really important so that people can kind of see, like, you know, if you're looking at a chart, right, like the two circles, and you're trying to see like what the comparisons are between different projects. I think one theme that we've definitely noticed as we interview different project teams, and one theme that's definitely common across different projects, is this idea of like not really ever thinking that you're going to end up building a project, not really ever thinking that you're going to end up on a project team. Like you said earlier, like never say never. And it is funny how many of the project founders we've talked to that have just said like, like I kind of got into this space through communities on Discord, being a part of different projects, not even as part of the team. And then, kind of had an idea. Um, Whether or not the opportunity fell on their lap or not, they connected with other people that are part of the community, and they were able to build out this project. So I think that's one thing that we can really appreciate is how these projects, the genesis of a lot of these projects, the idea that like you can kind of just insert yourself into a Discord, into a community, and like, crypto is naturally a learning space. Web3 is naturally a learning space. And you're kind of forced to learn if you enjoy being a part of any team, if you enjoy being a part of any project. And kind of with educating yourself also comes the opportunity to create something. And I think that's great that that's kind of your story too. And I think there's a lot of comparisons there to other project teams.
Thank you. That means a lot. And what I absolutely agree with what you said about crypto and Web3 being being a space for learning for most.
Mhm.
And we really want to bring that aspect forward because so far, whatever connections I made, whatever experience I have, like everything I learned cannot be quantified, and that's what I value the most about the space is the opportunity to learn from all around the world, from so many different people in so many different ways. And that's what I absolutely love about NFTs, and that's why I wanted to do such thing for Celephais as well. Just everything that I absolutely believe in.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's awesome, man. And I think we can definitely appreciate that. One question I had is, I noticed on the Twitter bio, your project says for dreamers only. Do you want to get a little bit into what that means and what that means for the project?
As I said, Celephais is a dream city, and we want to onboard as many people who have who are ambitious, who dreams even higher than just like anything they think they can achieve, and we want to make those dreams come true. And that's I mean, as cheesy as it might sound, just personally, from me, I wouldn't say anything unless I believe in it 100%. I mean, even though it's a bit cheesy, I just really want to help people to an artist to achieve their dreams, like whatever that might be possible. Because
Hmm.
um, just to give as a basic example, if creating Celephais was my dream, then it's our artist's dream to be a part of this amazing collection and have their work shown and actually get the right financial compensation that they so much deserve.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, we all have different dreams, and I want Celephais to become the right place for everyone with those dreams to meet.
Yeah, and I think that's a beautiful dream too. And I kind of like that, like this project is the aggregate of dreams, right? It's not one person's dream that's being made possible and then others who appreciate the project and want it to grow. It's the idea that like you can bring a lot of people together with maybe different goals that have similar commonalities, and they can work together to build something and all kind of achieve their dreams concurrently.
Absolutely, that's what we are trying to do in Celephais.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Go
gonna
ahead,
jump in
Mathias.
for. I was gonna say. I was curious. When now that we're doing, we'll do some questions here. I was curious, like though, your take on the Zagabond bomb that dropped the other day, and if it changes anything for you or anything like that for the Azukis.
Oh, Zegabon, you mean the thing that happened with his previous three rug pulls?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Are we calling them rugs? I think that probably puts where you stand on it, right?
Yeah, I
Give the
mean
hint.
that's obvious. I mean, I literally just read it this morning. The first thing I jump on Twitter, I see Zach's tweet. I was like, oh fuck.
Have Zach on notifications,
Oh
right? Like
yeah,
anytime
I
he
mean,
tweets.
Zach's not. I mean, if you get a DM from Zach, it's just like
You
fuck.
just run.
It's game over.
Good.
He's really like the boogeyman of the NFT space. You gotta. I mean, he's doing God's work. Zach is an absolutely amazing person. I mean, I personally like having gotten to meet him. I DM'd him from my account, from Celephais' account. I just want to talk with him. I mean, that's what
It's nice being
that's what I
famous. You
say.
DM him and he responds, right?
I mean, if he responds, I would be scared.
Yeah.
I,
But so you
I
think
would.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I haven't read the Medium article posted by Zegabon just yet, but I read Zach's tweets about his previous three projects that were complete rug pulls, and I mean, although like, see the main thing that I can so can you guys just enlighten me just a bit about the Medium article of Zegabon?
Yeah, so basically it was just that there had been some projects that were some people are saying they're failures, they're not rugs, they're just fails or they're like I think it was the Zunks or something like that were, it kind of pushed the space forward in certain ways, like, with I think it was the Creative Commons license and stuff like that. I think really what we could talk about, the real question kind of around it is it okay to have a failed project in NFTs? You know what I mean? Like, is it, or do you have to hit a home run right off the bat? You know what I mean? Like, are founders allowed to have a project where they learn something? Because I think that's his main argument, or his main only way to really escape on this one is like, are you allowed to fail in NFTs, or is that the cardinal sin?
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
absolutely. Sorry,
No, you're
I
good.
actually, well, it's a bit. Um, that's I really don't get asked questions that aren't really related to Celephais, and it's just. I mean, it's really nice because it gives you some sort of thing to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, I most prominently think that those projects failure was, I mean, they're degen projects, right?
Right.
If anyone other than Zegabond did those, people would just never even talk about it. They just go, oh, it's a degen project, and that's it. But the
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
problem is that Zagabond, who is the head of one of the most well-known NFTs in the entire space, and with such a large following and such a large audience, did this, and it's really really unacceptable. So you can I personally I really am a relativist when it comes to anything in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I really do not believe that there is an objective right or an objective wrong, but we just live on by our morals and what the society dictates. So personally, I live on with my morals and what I want to, like, what our goals in the NFT space. Like, each of us really really differ. I personally want to help and give back to all these artists and amazing team that's been supporting me since day one, and I want to give as many people a platform to raise their voice. But when it comes to Zagabond, I think it's really really unacceptable to just jump from one project to another, because just like founding a project myself, it consumes so much time. I mean, of course, um, of course I can work on other projects, I can help people, I can give ideas, because like personally I think my strong suit is to think outside the box and just like come up with ideas, and just like through brainstorming with our team members, we came up with such great ideas for Celephais. And so I just think that that is my strong suit. But um just working on Celephais is such time consuming. I mean, I have worked from exam to exam, like highest scores possible. I took nine eight. I don't know if you, since you
Hmm.
guys are in states, you probably know. I took nine APs in high school, and I
Jeez.
got
Wow.
5 from 6 of them. So I really, really, really worked my ass off, and I can say that I have never worked in my entire life more than I've been working on Celephais. So I know how much it's time consuming, but most importantly, I let it be this time consuming, and I devote so much time because I love and I believe in what we are doing. But when it comes to Zagabond and such projects, I mean, well, he might have hit the home run with Azuki, and just like uh, is going off the bunkers with all the money he's making. So um, but it doesn't justify the members of those other projects just be completely let down, the social media deleted, no word heard from it, money immediately funneled out of the projects. Those are some things that are absolutely unacceptable, because working with some amazing projects, just like meeting such people such as Ramo, when Ramo first started the Habibis, he basically took nothing from the mint of the project, because, and he personally, I witnessed the journey of Habibis, and they went from a 0.006 floor price all the way up to 1.4 ETH, and they're still doing incredibly well, and they have such a fantastic community. But that's only because Ramo kept on devoting and actually succeeding, and giving back to all those people who supported him since day one, and that have been most plentifully rewarded. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem with I think that's the major problem with Zagabond is doing, because just because his other projects he didn't, well, they didn't mint out, they didn't make the full revenue, or they didn't achieve what he wanted to achieve, doesn't justify to just like completely run away. So you ask me, does a project does an NFT project fail at all? But what I will say is that an NFT project never fails if you have the right, if you have the right vision, and if you know the right people. So which is why I'm probably the last person, like one of the last people to give a damn about floor price or all the fungible part of NFTs. Um, that's because what we are trying to achieve in Celephais can be done without minting out or without even minting. As I said, we have already generated over $20,000 of income to a couple of artists just this past week, and we have rewarded, and not rewarded, but just like we given everything that we got from our collabs to our community. I mean, I personally enter the giveaways with our other community members just to win a whitelist from their own spots. I could easily just take one for myself, but I don't. I'm not saying this as just like, oh my god, praise me, but I'm just giving you guys an example of how I view things. But we do not have to mint out, or we don't have to mint at all to be a successful project, because after all, when a community and the people dictates the project, then you know that it is something that's right, and it's something that you can always lean back to and look forward to. So I think those are the right constituents of an NFT project, and that's why they practically cannot fail. But when you look at projects like a Zungs, Fungs, or there's one other that he rugged, those are obviously less effort given, just DJing projects, and with a single aim in mind, and it's just to take money, and that's
Right.
about it.
Hmm.
And he just pulls the rug.
It
If
begs
Celephais,
the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nerva. My bad.
yeah, no problem. If Celephais doesn't mint out, nothing really will change. I mean, we already have a 3,333 supply, which is really low compared to mini projects, but we are
Mhm.
trying to keep it that way because we really are trying, and our mint price is going to be below zero point 0.1. That's because we really, really, really are trying to keep things really small, tight knit, as warm as possible, and as real as possible. So that's because I didn't even think about creating an NFT project in the first place. But when things just started happen, I've been in love ever since, and I love just devoting all my time to Celephais. But it's all because of the amazing people that we have on board. Well, apparently enough, Zagabond didn't spend such time or such or such devotion or the right fundings to actually achieve what he quote unquote was promising to his holders. I mean, these are obvious rug pulls, but when it comes to anything in real life, when there are stakeholders such as the Azuki holders who bought from 30 ETH, 25 ETH, and when the floor price goes down because of what Zagabond is doing, what Zagabond has done, it's really just like it's an overclashing of interests. People do not want to FUD Azuki. Azuki holders cannot FUD Azuki because they're the stakeholders of this project. So, and that's when the morals and the conflict of interest takes place. So
Mhm.
I know that, and that's the part of the space, right? You wouldn't want to see a project that's in your bags to be flooded down to zero, and so you have to rise up for them, not because you believe or see what there's right, but just because you don't want to lose money, and that's why I have always prioritized to just like that's why I always prioritize morals or money and connections or money or anything like that in my entire life. Just there are some things that are fungible, and there are some things that you can quantitate in no way, and that's and that's why I really really think that what Zagabon has done is wrong. He
Mhm.
has to personally. If I was in a similar situation, I would immediately step out because what Zagabond has done is he created a brand. He created something, and the Azuki team and the artists have created something that's far larger than themselves. And for their own interest and for the safety of the project, I would personally step down. And that's what I know. Zagabond won't do this, but that's my personal take on things.
Yeah, and it does beg the question, like if you know, was Azuki his passion before this thing blew up? Like, if something similar had happened with Azuki's, would he have just stepped away and moved to another project? I think that's the question that needs to be asked, and that's what a lot of people should base their decisions off of. Is like, and, you know, we'll never really know because you can't get in the mind of someone else and know anything, you know, as an axiom. But I think the question that I've kind of asked myself as you talk about this is like, if Azuki had been a flop, would he have just done the same thing?
I was asking the exact same question.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to see at what point do people call projects like a failure. You know what I mean? Like some are like, oh, if you don't mint out, it failed. If you know, you're not above 1 ETH or something, it didn't 100x for me. Oh, it's a fail. Like, but it does seem like as long as the founders and the team are still building, still going, like they still believe in the, like they're still focused on the project, then you can't fail as long as you don't let down the community or rug pull. It seems like it's really easy, but also really hard to fail with NFTs. It's kind of a funny mix there.
Yeah, and I like the motif that you injected into that answer, Nerva. Just the idea that like an NFT project can't fail. It's really the team that fails, right? It's like at some point they just throw their hands up and they're like, okay, like on to the next one, or even just like, all right, stepping away from this. It's like it really is about how resilient the team is to failure and how much time and effort and, you know, soul and blood they put into the project.
Yeah, but also not just about failure. Let's talk a bit about success too. So I
Mhm.
believe that for people like Zagabond and others who most likely see the more money aspect of things, or just the NFT holders, for example, I can say that for the 99% of the space, if not maybe more, an NFT project would be successful if it mints out, if
Hmm.
its floor price 100x's, if they make tons of money from it, and this goes for the team. If they make a ton of money from royalties, if people start rocking it as their profile picture, then boom, that's success for you. And since day one, and if you have attended any more of my AMAs, you would have heard me say this. I wouldn't consider Celephais a successful project if we mint out. I wouldn't consider Celephais a successful project if our full price goes to 10 ETH, 20 ETH. I wouldn't consider Celephais a successful project if if we make millions of dollars from the royalties. I would only consider Celephais a successful project if we actually see the if we actually see that through the help that our artists and our community members if the help that they get from us actually starts changing their lives in one way or another. I mean, I personally didn't expect this to happen after mint, but just last week I can say that we at least changed, or in a very good way affected 4 lives of people. And that's, I mean, and that's like even one person, even 100 people, maybe 1,000 people, like however many. That's just more than enough for me to be satisfied. I mean, I the other day I just like was in watch chat with our community members, and they said, "Look, I mean, we can literally mint nothing, and I would be very very happy as the way things are right now. I wouldn't ask for anything else. I really
Hmm.
wouldn't ask for anything else, because this is perfect, and this I want to keep things going this way. But you know, I want there are just so many people that are devoted probably over 1,000 hours collectively into Celephais, and I want to give them a chance to actually um, change their lives and help them in a good way. For example, one of our artists, Marco, is getting married this summer, so I'm more in a way thinking of his revenue from the project as a wedding gift, and that he might create a fantastic home. And our other artist, Mick, has been working with the same equipment for the past couple of years, and so just like to buy buy the new equipment and improve his art, and just like take it to the next level. I think that's just something that I can truly see the value of. And I'm it's like personally, I'm going to it's like I don't want to I don't want them to use whatever their overall revenue from Celephais in things that they need. So personally, I'm going to buy them the equipment and the tools that they need, and I want everything else to go to their real life, their bills, their costs, their houses, anything like that. But because that's only when I would be really really happy to just sit back and relax for a minute and just
And
like
that's
see, okay, I think Selfie is going to make it.
that's really admirable, I think. And you know what, like we laugh, but I think it is really comforting to hear. And definitely anyone that's listening that's interested in the project, I'm sure is feeling the same thing, because really like money as the motive is a very easy option, right? Like that's it's very easy for people to feel that way. And I think it's the genesis of concern for a lot of people that are getting into a project. Obviously, like, 99% of the people that are getting into a project, um, right or wrong, are interested in using that project as a means to, make some money or generate some clout or something like that. And I think, a lot of times, like, we get into these projects and the genesis of our concern is like, is this a rug, right? And rugs are all based off of and anchored down by the idea that, like, I want to make money as quick as possible and then, take that money and do something else. And I think that's definitely a concern when you walk into a project, is like, is that what the team is focused on? Are they focused on just making money? Are they focused on changing lives? Are they focused on driving success to the team, driving, opportunity, and, success not defined by money, as you mentioned, and like driving opportunity for the people that are part of the community to interact, collaborate, grow something together, feel like, even if they're not a part of the team, that they are creating something that will make a difference in their lives and in the team's lives, and build something that they think will be important and that they'll have an attachment to. And I think it's really comforting to hear a project founder say that money is not the motive. And it seems like you really do walk the walk and talk the talk. So like I said, I think it's not to repeat myself for the 10th time, but I think it's comforting.
Thank you. Means a
Yeah,
lot, man.
that's where I'm curious. So another take is like, because there's so many times in the NFT space, there's I feel like there's so much gray area, not like legally or anything like that, but like kind of just
Morally.
however, yeah, like however people kind of want to run their project, which is just totally,
Hmm.
it's kind of up to them, and people, it's good that everything is opt in, so you're never forced to buy a project, so which is always nice. But some that get really successful, like Moonbirds, if you take a look at their roadmap, some would probably argue that it's like amazing and revolutionary, and then some would probably say that it sounds a lot like every other roadmap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
So that's the kind of like, I
But at least there's
wonder.
at least there's transparency there, right? Like that's
Yeah,
another idea too, is like, whatever your motive is, as long as it's, transparent, I think, like, the team knows, like, the community knows what they're getting themselves into. It's like, if money is the motive, like, if that's the between the lines on your goals, your communications, etc., then at least, like, people know that that's what they're getting into. But like, if you say, like, if I say, like, I'm building this project because I want to change lives, and then it's a rug pull, like, there's no transparency there, right? Like, that's just a straight lie. But I think really transparency is what's important as a team too.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, so then with like something like Moonbirds, is that, is it successful? If you're successful, is it always good? Or can you be successful and it not be really like good for the space? I mean, I know they're like NFT OGs and stuff like that. So I'm curious what your take is, Nerva, on the Moonbirds, and then the situation with their I think it was their COO or something that was sniping rares and stuff like that, and then left to do their own fund.
Yeah, that that sniping rares kind of thing is probably a problem with many of the things. It most recently came up with I saw on Twitter with someone fighting Murakami for sniping
Mm,
rares, quote
yeah,
unquote sniping rares, even before the seeds were fully released. But I there's just so much things that's really boring and not really really worth any of my attention or my time to even be concerned, be seen about. I just look forward to what I personally am doing, and I just keep my head down and continue. And
yeah,
that's the only way I look to strive in the space. I mean, there's always these problems. You know, moonbirds mooned and then they went back down, but they're always holders unless you bought from like 30th, who really made a lot of money from it. So I I really don't mind if floor price goes up or down. I do not track that at all with any project. But as long as I meet good people, as long as I make the right connections, that's everything for me. But for the stakeholders, of course, sniping rares before anything mints and just like paying overpriced and people obviously seeing and just like figuring it out is just kind of boring. It's just like it's wrong, but you know you cannot teach these people right or wrong because, as I said, I'm a relativist and they really see the right or the wrong in themselves and they are only concerned by money, which doesn't remotely interest me. But if they actually are successful in doing a good community, in actually bringing together a group of people that wants to help each other in any way possible, then I would say I would consider Moonboards a successful project. And so far, from what I've seen, there's a lot of people that love Moonboards and they have a relatively good community. But
Yeah.
if that's bad, sure. I mean, if you minted it, you're still probably up 1,000x. Then sure,
Nice, cool 1000x.
that's it for you.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as I said, it really doesn't concern me at all.
Yeah, I think that's a good point though. Is really like just there's so much noise in this space that people can get caught up in the latest drama or the latest this or that, or like worried about other people's projects as well. I mean, like I was saying, they're all opt in. So if you jump into it, it's really 100% on you risk wise. And you can just, if you don't keep money as the main focus for these projects, then it's much easier to see good communities, good connections, and the more fun of the space, really.
Hmm. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I think too, like, you know, one thing that we've talked about a lot on the podcast is this like idea that like there are so many projects, so much clutter on Twitter and Discord that it's very easy to be a part of a project that's doing, you know, copy and paste what another project is doing, but it is good to see projects like Celephais that are doing something different. You know, the mission is something different, you know, driving growth for the artists, creating, you know, non-monetary success and probably monetary success that follows it for the artists as well, and, you know, changing their lives as well as the communities. It's good to see something like that because it differentiates itself, you know, even if that wasn't the focus, even if it wasn't like, oh, I'm building this project because I want to do something different with the same goal. You know, it's the goal that differs, and it's the goal that I think is really going to differentiate Celephais. On top of the fact that you guys have some amazing artists that are working on the team as well, and then, you know, you behind the steering wheel that has, you know, a pretty a pretty let's say like a pretty admirable goal, a pretty admirable mission for his project. I think that that's something that's really going to differentiate Celephais and drive a lot of attention to it. So I think, you know, we're getting pretty close to the hour mark, but you know, we could probably ask a couple more non-Celephais related questions. Mathias always has a bunch on his lap, but yeah, no, just I want to voice again that I really appreciate that in the project, and I think that that's going to be where you guys see a lot of success.
Thank you. That's always really refreshing to hear because you know, it's we are all so caught up with collaborations, projects, one aiming to another, like doing giveaways, setting up times and whatnot, doing calls. But it's just really refreshing to always hear support like that. So thanks
Of
again.
course.
Thanks for again, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got a lot of my questions out here, and I know Nerva's probably pretty busy here, so I don't want to like. I mean, we could. I'm sure we could talk a lot more. I would love to hear as a final one, maybe. Who are some fun, cool, like what artists do you kind of love that are coming up? Anybody that you would say is like, a low cap gem or somebody that you're looking for that you're saying like this person is going to do really well, or it's just amazing art that you're kind of like any amazing artist that you're following right now that you'd like to shout out, whether big or small.
Um, just as a final alpha before I go,
I first of all want to thank both of you guys for having me here. This was probably one of my favorite AMAs that I've ever done, and
Well, we
I'm glad.
appreciate that.
I really feel like I got everything out of my chest that I want to say. And thank you again. And answer that to answer your question and to end that final remark, I'll only say a single word: Brazilians, Brazilian
Mm.
artists. Both of our artists are from Brazil, and they have a fantastic community and so many underrated artists. So there's some big artists that I absolutely love. Chino, he probably can understand this because it's in English, but
Mhm.
he's an
Mm.
amazing artist. But if you want to truly find the hidden gems in the art world, Brazilian artists,
There's
they're
the
really
alpha.
big.
There
I
it
have to
is.
start.
Exactly.
I have to switch my Twitter language to Portuguese so I can start
Yeah.
finding the Brazilian Brazilian
If you
artists.
listen to the whole podcast, you finally get to the end, and that's the alpha right there.
Exactly.
And we
I
could say
love
Thank you
with
so much,
final
guys.
remarks, obrigado, which I think is thank you in Portuguese.
it. Yeah, I appreciate you
Thank you,
jumping
man.
on.
Yeah,
Of
thank you, man.
course. Slowly.
And as a final note, anyone that made it this far in the podcast, we have one whitelist spot to give away through the podcast. So if you're listening right now, DM Matthias or I, just DM us whatever, DM us hi, DM us like love the podcast. Don't DM us hated the podcast, never want to listen to you again. But just DM us something and mention that you're entering for the whitelist raffle, and we'll throw you in 48 hours.
Yeah,
So we
DM me
appreciate.
your Brazilian artist, your favorite Brazilian artist. If you're
Yeah.
DMing
Oh,
me,
I like that.
DM me some good Brazilian artists, and
And
I'll
Nerva,
put you in.
and thank you, Nerva, our Turkish philosopher and great project leader here. We really we appreciate you, man, and I enjoyed the conversation a lot. I think that we touched on a lot of points that maybe other podcasts wouldn't be covering. They're more interested in like all of the dry data and hard facts, et cetera, et cetera. And I think you brought a lot of light to the mentality of your project, and I think that that's a great thing.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Yeah, of
Thanks,
course.
guys. It was lovely being here.
Yeah,
And we loved having you.
had tons of
Thank
fun.
you.
Yep,
Take
of
Have a
care.
course.
good one.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.